The line, Alderman James Cappleman, 46, the Uptown Ward, introduced an ordinance that would make it a crime to feed pigeons in public. Violators face up to 6 months in jail, fined as much as $1,000. First of all, Alderman, does that sound like a pigeon to you?
Oh my gosh, it does. I guess on the surface, it does kind of sound kind of strange and wild.
That's not a pigeon. Just admit it. Please tell me, because I can't believe this could possibly be a pigeon.
I don't think it is, and I'm becoming an expert on pigeons these days.
I guess you are. Now, Alderman, as we left off for the holidays, that's what you had planned to do. Are you going to the city council next week to try to get this ordinance through?
There might be a little bit of a change, and you are the very first one to know it. We might combine this with another possible ordinance about pigeons. I won't go into too much detail because I'm still working with several aldermen to go over it to make sure that it's going to be right. But it's something along the lines of protecting pigeons that are in coops while at the same time not encouraging feeding pigeons out in the streets.
All right, let me see if I have this right. So the
should be working with the pigeons, perhaps.
The pigeons aren't going to be voluntarily involved in this, but I will tell you this, Alderman. If I have this correct, one, it would be illegal to feed pigeons, but yet you want to protect pigeons that are in people's coops already. People like to
homing pigeons. Yes,
homing
that's
pigeons.
A whole different thing.
Yeah. Like Mike Tyson, he collects pigeons. I don't know if you collect them, but you have them in your home, and then I don't know what people do. They race pigeons. They use them for something, right?
This is where they keep a few pigeons, but in the Uptown area, we have around 4,000 pigeons that are nesting in specific spots, and each pigeon, I've learned, contributes about 25 pounds of bird dropping. So if you look at 25 pounds of bird dropping times 4,000 pigeons, it's quite a bit of pigeon dropping.
Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it?
That's my neighborhood. You're my alderman.
This is there he is. Yeah. Then you ought to thank this man for getting that pigeon crap off your street.
I mean, I understand the problem, and I appreciate any effort to solve it, but I'll tell you, there's going to be an army of outraged old ladies, because they're the ones that feed the pigeons.
Well, wait,
I totally understand that.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy, because you've had that one lady. There was a lady who actually attacked you, correct?
There is actually. She's attacked several people. I was an alderman, so that got in the news. But several other people have been also.
Right. If you try to clean up the breadcrumbs, this lady likes to feed the pigeons. Okay, so they feed 3 or 4 pounds of bread 4 times a day, apparently, and they prompt these birds to come. That's a lot of bread to lay out. And these ladies is it one lady or 2 or many old ladies?
Well, actually, it's a problem throughout the entire city of Chicago, and it's been a huge mess. But there are a few dedicated bird feeders throughout the city, and we have 2 in this ward, but they're in every ward. I wish we could escape it, but we can't.
Yeah,
can't you get them off the street? Just
why can't you
get them off the street?
Why can't you just tell them to stop? Well, that's what you're trying to do. But if
we're trying to do that. But our problem is that we've had several buildings. Well, there's a building that is owned by CTA that has 5 different storefronts in it. It's all been closed down. It's been closed down for 2 or 3 years. Because the roof leak. The roof leak occurs because of pigeon droppings are highly acidic, and it's very hard to repair that roof because the tracks are right over it.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
So now we have a whole stretch with no retail along it, and that's where crime goes up.
Yeah, it does. And here's what you've got. You've got this pigeon crap. It's about an inch thick. It's deep, it's thick. You have people getting scared. They're afraid to even walk through the corridors, the L station or the Lawrence.
I walk on the street to get around it. I'm hesitant to do it.
Alderman, isn't it true there are like 1,000 pigeons right in the corridors just waiting for you? Here they come. Ah! I just got to get to the train, please. You know what I mean? It's like the birds. It is like the birds.
Well, we do have people getting off the sidewalk and walking into the street or walking across the street to avoid this one area where there's a particularly high amount of pigeons roosting in the area.
Yeah, but here, let's go back to what Buzz said. Since he's a constituent of you in your Uptown ward, Alderman James Cappleman wants pigeon feeding to be illegal in Chicago, may combine that with, it's okay to raise them in coops. That would be good because they're not pooping on everything. That's fine. That's what I believe what you're saying.
Yes.
But Buzz says
it's being entertained.
Yeah, they're just entertaining. They're flying around. They're not pooping and everything. But Buzz said, if you do this, we know that there are some ladies that love to feed the birds, as we say, 4 pounds of bread 4 times a day.
Yes.
And I said you'll have outraged ladies. So you see these people, Buzz, all the time?
Well, yeah.
Why do you know they'll be outraged? Because they love feeding pigeons.
Really, if you're very old, you don't have pets of your own, you go to the park and feed the pigeons, and they're all your friends.
Yeah.
All right.
And that happens a lot. And it's really geared towards areas where we're seeing the sidewalks. I can't see the cement anymore. The pigeon dropping is so thick, and when people fall, that's an average of $30,000 per lawsuit when people fall on sidewalks.
Yeah.
But the other discouraging thing is it interrupts retail, and when retail is interrupted because we had a Majestic men's store. It's been in operation for over 50 years, closed down because of roof leakage, because its building is right over the tracks and it's hard to repair the roof. So when we lose retail, then there's no eyes on the street. Crime goes up. It really has a detrimental effect.
That
on
lawsuit thing is interesting.
Factors.
That lawsuit thing is pretty interesting. That you slip on that, you're forgetting the liability to the city. You slip in that pigeon crap, you can sue.
And CTA used to clean the sidewalks regularly, but they said they don't have the budget to do it.
Right.
So there's no money to do it. Then I'm raising money to find some type of a power washer to get this done.
Yeah, to get it clean.
Can't do it, and SSA can't do it.
I think that I think the big problem here is this: if you eliminated the ladies feeding the pigeons, let's be clear now. If you eliminated that feeding process, would the pigeons go away naturally?
Pigeons are wild, and actually a lot of animal activists would discourage feeding wild animals. It would go back to what the population should be. When people feed,
just normal.
No, the problem gets bad. The other big problem, though, is that with pigeon guano, there's 4,000 pigeons. That's 100,000 pounds of pigeon guano.
Now it's guano.
Rats eat pigeon droppings.
Yeah, I got it.
Rats eat.
You don't hear guano too much anymore.
Yeah. We went from poop to droppings to guano. Now you say yes. Go back to that because it's very important. Rats eat feces.
Yes.
Yes. That's right.
Geez.
So now you're bringing rats. So listen, this has to be. There's no doubt, Alderman James Cappleman. No doubt, you have to solve this problem. You got to get those pigeons off there, but you got to get those ladies. If it's only a few ladies, let's say it's 10 ladies.
Get them off the street.
Give them a cat. You said, Buzz, they need pets. They think the pigeons are their pets. They're not.
Well,
we tried to do. We for this one person who did attack me.
The lady who pushed you in the street. Alderman, she pushed you in the street. Is that correct?
Well, just to say that she went after me and started, and I was getting out of the way. I did whatever I could to get out of the way. Actually,
let me read the report. You're sitting there near Broadway and Wilson. You began to sweep up the breadcrumbs that she was throwing. The woman shoved you hard enough to push you into the street, and then threw breadcrumbs at you. Nice.
Get her off the street.
But no, I'm not being crazy when I say this, Alderman. Maybe you're going down the same line. If these people, let's help these nice old ladies or whatever it is that wants to feed pigeons, let's give them something to pet.
Yeah, and we're talking about an individual who actually has attacked numerous individuals, and so we had a report a couple of weeks ago about a man who was confronting another man who was feeding the pigeons, who was in a Prius, and the Prius knocked into his bicycle, and the guy fell over because he was telling him, "Please don't feed the pigeons."
Right.
So you think of these sweet little old ladies who are feeding the pisions.
They got nothing to lose.
We're talking about people who have attacked many, many, many people for asking them to please stop feeding the pigeons.
They're loose cannons. I mean, you get that old, apparently you're unemployed. All you care about is pigeons. You're a loose cannon. You're dangerous.
Yes, every community has it.
What have we come to now?
I know.
But one thing I've learned, you do not, under any circumstance, tell anyone to stop feeding pigeons in Uptown. That's a bad idea.
Actually, really, I mean, this is everywhere. I mean, I've talked to numerous aldermen, and they all say the same thing. They have this wild group of pigeon feeders who are just focused on feeding pigeons, and it's driving them wild because it's affecting their businesses. And city of Chicago, we cannot have retail affected.
You know, when you first got in the news before the holidays proposing the pigeon ordinance, it seemed silly to me. But now that you explain it, losing retail, rats, and it's like,
right on.
Let's get them off the street.
This Alderman's right on.
Right, absolutely.
But because people were picturing, what's wrong with a sweet old lady?
Right.
Why do you want to put this sweet old lady in 6 months in prison? Well, first of all, no judge is going to put anybody in prison for 6 months. It really serves as a deterrent. That's it.
Yeah, you got to just listen. You're right. People running around feeding pigeons, and as you say, strength in numbers. So all the other wards gather together. The pigeon feeding stops. And what pigeon needs 4 pounds of bread a day?
Well, I mean, we had one guy who knows a lot about pigeons who looked at the area and he said, these pigeons are really well fed.
Yeah, because of those few ladies.
Pigeons produce more pigeon guano droppings, whatever you want to call it.
Crap.
Which gives more food to the rats.
Yeah, you say the word rats, that changes the whole course of things. Say the word rats, and then you've got yourself an argument. Now, and the excrement and the crap, the guano all over the businesses, people slipping on sidewalks, city getting sued, not good. But remember, I love old ladies. And I think if we can just...
I love old ladies, too.
Right, we can get them a pet. Yeah, because, by the way, I'll be able to say that Alderman
Work in the bird sanctuary. You have a great bird sanctuary. They could devote all their energy and time there, and that's what we did for that one lady, community service in the bird sanctuary.
Hey, Buzz, remember that Alderman, James Cappleman, that got beat up by that old lady? Yeah. So, Alderman, I think we just have to find something to let these ladies be happy with, and if they continue, listen, life is life. If they continue to be a nuisance in the streets of Chicago, they got to go. The women have to go.
Especially, please don't batter other people.
Right. Don't hit someone because they tell you not to feed a pigeon.
Yeah.
Right. What about the geese?
All right, don't start on the geese.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, don't start on the geese. Let's take one bird problem at a time, please.
I agree.
One problem at a time. Alderman James Cappleman, as you told us there, you're going to introduce something in City Council, of course, making it illegal to feed pigeons, but maybe it'll be not so bad if you have them in a cage. That's what will come out next week.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, well, keep us posted. We'll talk to you next week.
Sure.
Thank you, Alderman.
Right. Take care.
Alderman James Cappleman.